Exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing dreadlocks and they need to stop appropriating black people.
Segregating comedy on my birthday. Yeah, this stuff has gone way too far. And I think somebody need to, you know, press the brake and let's rethink this. I think all right, I think this one is a good one, guys. You gotta take out this one with me. The title of this one is When Wokes and Racism Actually Agree on Everything. So we're gonna check this one out together for the first time here. Hey, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to the page and click the bell icon for more of our notification uploads. All right, friends, without further ado, let's get to it.
When me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Isn't that the truth? Both wokesters and race hustlers are saying the same exact message, and it is somewhat funny and disturbing at the same time.
We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should
roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. Jinx, now you owe me a Coke.
Yeah, that is actually really, really weird. Some of these ideologies that they're putting forth. Hiring based on race again. I thought this was based on your education and your experience, your expertise, your qualification for the position, but it's just like everything is racist. Perspective is actually so disturbing and disrespectful, if you were to ask me, because I don't necessarily live in that mentality. As for me, I am in no way saying that racism doesn't exist. I've lived it, I've experienced it, but to the degree of what they're talking about on the media, I'm like, bruh, you are living a lie.
Hey, tell them what you told me yesterday.
White actors should only do voices for white cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people, we have so much privilege.
I agree. It is a privilege to be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys,
are you serious? What does that have to do with any of it? You see how the wokesters and the race hustlers, how much they just don't make sense. Do they understand human nature and just the basic biology and relationship and what matters to people and how people connect with one another? Love doesn't have a color. What are you talking about? It just doesn't work like that. And these ideologies and what they're putting forth is just pure nonsense.
Against interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
Ugh, you know that taco place is white owned?
White people should be making white foods like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt. It's like he's a mind reader. I mean, I've been pushing for segregation forever, and my man does what?
I created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing dreadlocks and they need to stop appropriating black people.
Segregating comedy on my birthday. Yeah, this stuff has gone way too far. And I think somebody need to, you know, press the brake and let's rethink this. I think it started on the positive end, especially the woke movement. It started in a positive way to bring awareness to police brutality and be aware of racism, trying to tackle it wherever it might be found. But what I think it's time for the narrative to be put to sleep, because it's creating a much bigger problem than it was first intended to do. In the beginning.
Those music.
Shaved heads and country music, the way God intended.
You know all white people are racist.
I'm listening.
Even if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
That is so weird. All white people are racist. I just don't get this ideology. And it's true, I was watching a video online where this black girl was saying, I'm gonna see if I could find it here for you really quickly.
People of color and black folks being dehumanized, that actually everyone is dehumanized off rip within white supremacy, that y'all are born into a life to not be human, and that's what y'all are taught to do, to be demons. So
is she serious? So this is the mentality that some of these wokesters are now wielding. What kind of sword is this? So it does make a lot of sense what these guys are talking about here. This concept of all white people are racist is just pure nonsense. Pure nonsense.
I'm listening.
Even if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
You know, we just kicked a guy out of the organization for having a black girlfriend, but if you can promise me he's still really racist, we'll consider letting him back in. Black people should only shop at black businesses.
I guess the only
Please give me a break. Black people should only shop black. Listen, man, the average black person just don't care about that. And I think the wokesters and the mob and these race hustlers, their job is to find racism wherever it may be and bring it to the surface. They are the one who have an issue with not shopping at certain stores. For me, I don't care. The product is what matter. I don't necessarily, whatever I'm looking for, whichever store is offering that, it's where I'm gonna go shop. I don't care about who the owner is, what color his skin is. To me, that just has very little significance. To me, it just doesn't matter. Have mercy. Anyway,
thing we really disagree about is I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny-hatted white people, I think we can come to an understanding.
Technically, I don't consider Jewish people white.
Neither do I.
wow. That is actually funny, but disturbing at the same time, because it shows there is something obviously wrong with this mentality that white people are racist, everything is racist, and if you don't agree with me, you must be racist. It's just like, really, like, people don't go around looking for reasons to hate people just like that. If the average white man who has an issue with a black man, a lot of it, there is a level of ignorance, that's for sure, but there's also a fear factor you need to consider as well, especially when some of our black men behave in ways that make all black people look bad. Let's be honest, right? We have a lot of our black men who behave certain way and promote certain ideologies, glorify their drugs and their crimes, pimping their women. So you gotta understand, a Caucasian man sees that stuff, and he has to wonder whether or not this black man at Walmart he just came face to face with is one of those. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand, people are coming with stereotype, perspective, and ideology that they have in other races, just based on what is promoted by these races. This doesn't necessarily mean all black people are like that. So I think a lot of what people call racism is really stereotype, misunderstanding, fear, and a lack of friendliness. We just don't know each other like that. And some people just, they may not feel comfortable with a particular race. That doesn't necessarily mean they're racist. And I think it's only fair to say that, even as a black minister, if I go to a white church that don't feel comfortable with having me as a black minister, who might not understand their culture, their ideology, knowing that I'm from Haiti and everything, if I'm not a good fit to that demographic, I would rather have a white minister who can better minister to them, bring them to the cross, and have a much positive effect on their lives, than me being there, not being able to carry out the work and lead them closer to Christ and make the impact that I need to have. I don't think that's racism. I think it's only fair that we do it for the benefit of all men. So I'm not necessarily saying I'm for the division, but I'm thinking logically as well. Like, it has to make sense, right? You don't take certain race and you mix them when you know the result will sometimes be bad. And there are times I've seen black ministers fit perfectly in white churches where there are no issues, but there are times they just don't fit. It doesn't necessarily mean the white churches are racist. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It's just there are personality issues that's happening here. There's cultural issues, there's perspective, there's a lot of stuff we have to consider than just color of skin here. It's just that we have to be very balanced with that. So it's a lot to consider, whatever, right? Obviously the narrative is dying, but they seems to be hanging on to this thread of racism to push certain political views, and some are just looking to make money through it. You know, the more racist stuff you can find, it's like a business to find racism anywhere. It's just like, it's a business. It becomes a way of life for some people, but I'm not with that. One thing I know for certain, God is not racist, and we're not supposed to be racist. And we have to be careful how we label people as being racist. We need to do some digging, ask some questions, take into mind demographic, perspective, experience, ideology, perception, right? Stereotype. There's a lot of things we have to, before we pull the race card, think about many different factors. Why a person may be doing certain things and talking to you in certain ways. Think about all these factors, and you might find, before you claim someone to be racist, you might find they just have a perception of a race that is incorrect. That doesn't necessarily mean they hate you. You know, so there's a lot here to consider. And I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. It actually does. But the way they're talking about it, I don't believe it.